Jimmy Page, a vital member of Led Zeppelin and a legendary rock and roll musician, has opened up about his mysterious life at the age of 80. Although there have been rumors and speculations about him, his life has come to an end at the age of 80. This video acknowledges Jimmy's early life and examines his position on his long-held conjectures. Music history will never be the same because of Jimmy's iconic status and innumerable magazine covers. Jimmy Page was raised in a regular British household after being born James Patrick A.G. in Hounslow, Middlesex, London, on January 9, 1944. He went to Ewell County Secondary School in West Ewell and Epsom County Pound Lane Primary School. Jimmy's musical career started almost by accident when he found a guitar abandoned in a new home when he was 12 years old. Folk music and the blues had a big impact on him because of artists like B.B. King, Bert Jansch, Jean Renoir, and Elmore James. Jimmy joined the skiffle group as a teenager, which was a popular musical genre in Britain at the time. They played songs like Mama Do Not Want to Skiffle Anymore and Old Cotton Fields Back Home during their appearance on Hugh Weldon's All Your Own Talent program. Friends Rod Wyatt and Pete Calvert, who frequently practiced at Jimmy's residence, were part of Jimmy's musical journey. The groundwork for one of the most incredible careers in rock history was established by these early encounters, his exposure to various musical genres, and the impact of his favorite artists. When Jimmy Page was just 14 years old, his musical career took a dramatic change. Soon after he joined a band named the Crusaders and started touring with them, he took the risky decision to drop out of school and devote himself fully to his love of music. He contributed to a number of neo-Christian albums around this time, notably the November 1962 single The Road to Love. Jimmy's health suffered as a result of the frequent touring, though, and he became quite ill with glandular fever, which made it necessary for him to cease playing and take a hiatus. Jimmy made the decision to put music on hold while he recovered and focus on painting, another artistic endeavor. After enrolling at Sutton Art College in Surrey, he became fully involved in the art scene. Jimmy was unable to completely give up his passion for music, even with his change in focus. In college, he kept playing guitar and even played at the renowned Marquee Club, where he jammed with Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton, and Alexis Corner's Blues Incorporated. When recording artists needed more help, they turned to Jimmy Page. He contributed to songs for some of the biggest bands of the era, such as the Kinks and the Who, and was a favorite of record producer Shel Taylor. Jimmy was given the opportunity to produce and perform songs for a variety of musicians when he took on a new position as the primary producer and assistant to Rolling Stones manager Andrew Loog Oldham. Additionally, Jimmy was romantically associated with American singer Jackie Shannon, with whom he briefly co-wrote songs. Jimmy gained valuable experience and was able to concentrate on a variety of projects while working as a session musician. He collaborated with Jim Sullivan on multiple albums, played lead guitar on 10 of Roy Harper's songs, and recorded with Keith Richards on the song Scarlet in 1974. But when the music industry evolved, Jimmy made the decision to move on. Jimmy began a new chapter in his musical career when he joined the Yardbirds, just 1 week after he made the decision to stop doing session work. After Eric Clapton left the Yardbirds in 1964, Jimmy was asked to join the group, but he declined. Jimmy suggested his friend Jeff Beck for the role after Clapton formally quit the band a year later. In 1966, Beck took over as the band's lead guitarist. The concept of creating a supergroup with some of the most prominent and gifted musicians of the era was inspired by a song called Beck's Bolero, which Jimmy and Jeff Beck recorded. It was intended to feature drummer Keith Moon and the band's founder John Entwistle. The band struggled with internal issues and the demands of touring despite their musical potential. Jimmy became the lead guitarist for the Yardbirds after Jeff Beck quit. In 1967, the trio produced an album titled Little Games, but it was not a commercial success. Jimmy had the chance to try out various sounds and techniques during live performances, which also allowed the band to explore new musical paths. Jimmy established the groundwork for one of the finest rock bands in history during his tenure with the Yardbirds. His approach to music was shaped by the experiences and lessons he gained during this time, which also helped Led Zeppelin establish and become successful. Peter Grant and Jimmy Page lead Zeppelin. Jimmy Page had a clear idea for the band, and the name was picked to prevent any mispronunciations. He envisioned the distinctive Led Zeppelin sound, a fusion of hard rock, blues, and acoustic music with strong thunderous choruses. One of the best-selling bands of all time, Led Zeppelin gained notoriety very fast. It is believed that between 2,300 million and 111.5 million certified copies of their record have been sold worldwide. All 9 of their studio albums reached the top 10 on the Billboard chart, demonstrating their considerable success in the US alone. Led Zeppelin's place in music history was cemented when 6 of their albums even reached the top of the charts. The band's success was largely due to Jimmy Page's influence as a producer and guitarist. He created a brand new sound by fusing parts of folk, blues rock, and even classical music, drawing inspiration from a wide range of sources. Led Zeppelin was a pioneer in the music industry thanks to their creative strategy. Live performances were another way that Led Zeppelin left their impact. Jimmy was romantically connected with French model Charlotte Martin in the late 1970s and early 1980s. The two had a daughter named Scarlett Page, who has now gone on to have a prosperous career as a photographer. Another well-known connection Jimmy had was with a young admirer named Laurie Maddox, or just Laurie Maddox. Patricia, who was modeling and working as a waiter at a New Orleans restaurant, was Jimmy's second love. As their bond deepened, they were joined in marriage in December 1986. In April 1988, James Patrick Page, their son, was born. Following his breakup with Patricia, Jimmy fell in love once more with Yima Gomez Paracha, whom he had met in Brazil while on the No Quarter Tour. For 13 years, they remained together and had 2 children, Ashen Joss and Sophia Page. Their relationship was unaffected by their age difference though, and they led a contented life together. Despite a number of obstacles, Led Zeppelin was able to remain together until 1980, when John Bonham passed away tragically. Jimmy ultimately went back to playing music after being crushed by the death of his friend and bandmate. His heavy use of recreational drugs in the 1970s was publicly disclosed, and his addiction had an impact on his guitar playing, his relationship with Robert Plant, and the band dynamics as the 1978 album was being recorded. Over his career, Jimmy Page has been involved in a lot of issues. He was only given a 12-month conditional release despite being caught twice for drug possession in 1982 and 1984. Page maintained his defensive posture regarding his prior involvement with drugs, claiming that he was not addicted, in spite of these arrests. By touring Japan in 1994, working with David Coverdale on the Coverdale-Page album, and performing with Aerosmith, Page made a big impression in the post-Zeppelin era. He also played guitar on Puff Daddy's Come With Me, which featured Led Zeppelin's Kashmir in 1999, and organized an event for Brazil's Children Trust, among other charitable endeavors. Page went on tour with the Black Crowes and then The Who, but he quit before the tour was over. Delays in Led Zeppelin reunion plans caused Page and Plant to get tense in 2014. Page alluded to a possible tour while announcing plans to start a new band. Jimmy disclosed scandals about his previous relationship with Laurie Maddox and Satanism at the age of 80. With a renewed emphasis on Jimmy's previous contact with Laurie, who disclosed that someone he knew had taken her to Jimmy's suite at the LA Hyatt House, the Me Too movement reappeared. Jimmy's obsession with Aleister Crowley, which led some to assume he was engaging in demon worship, was the subject of another dispute. Jimmy appreciated Crowley's views on individual liberty, but there was no hard proof that he was a Satanist. Jimmy purchased Crowley's old house near Scotland's Loch Ness in 1971. He later said it felt haunted. There were even rumors that Led Zeppelin had struck a bargain with Satan in order to become famous. Jimmy Page is still regarded as a significant force in the music industry and is not exhibiting any symptoms of slowing down in spite of these reports and disclosures. He recently made references to adding more songs, such as Saccharine, to his record with David Coverdale. In 2018, Coverdale had indicated interest in a box set of the album, but it appears that he has since given up on the concept. So viewers, for the next update please subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.